Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome you guys to the channel. It's your boy Big Dog back with another one take review, and today I got one for Pluribus episode 3. Last episode we left off with Carol pretty much stopping the plane so she can get Zosha back, so she won't have to go, perform sexual acts with that dude who's. Okay, real quick. Okay, we gotta talk about something real quick. I asked a question on TikTok, and I was just like, "Hey, if this was you, if you was in Carol position, and obviously they're trying to make something to where you can become part of the joint, would you do it?" And I've seen some people like, "No, they don't need me. I'll just go off and live my life by myself." But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I'm kind of in like the same mindset, but I started thinking of just stuff. And I'm sorry I'm going on a tangent, and I'm supposed to be reviewing the episode, but this is just something I want to think about, or I had to think about, because I started thinking about like that whole thing with Zosha. You know what I'm saying? Technically, if you're a decent human being, you technically can't have sex anymore. Like, just hear me out. Just hear me out. Because, yes, it will be consensual sex, but not really, though. Because they don't really have any free will, because they just pretty much doing whatever to please you, even though the person that is doing this is not really that person. They're everybody. You get what I'm saying? Also, it would feel weird. I mean, even if you did having sex with one person, but it technically feel like you're having sex with everybody. You having sex, I'm just being honest, you're having sex with a 80-year-old woman, a 60-year-old man, that 24-year-old that you're actually having sex with, but it's also like so many other, you get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I just don't think I don't think that's right. I think if you're a decent human being, you just pretty much got to be celibate at this point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just it. That's just it. It's over. And then I also kind of wonder how art even works anymore. Does it even have art, or everything that be made after this now is going to be orchestrated to your liking? I don't want that. I don't want everything to be like, "Oh, you did this because I would like it." No, I like shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Okay. But nonetheless, back to the episode. I'm sorry, I just had to get that off. Now back to the episode. Carol ends up going back to the crib, and she's just at the crib watching Golden Girls. Love Golden Girls. That used to be me and my grandma's show. Love it to death. But now she just kind of just in the crib chilling, and she's kind of pissed. But at the beginning of this episode, we had a flashback. So when Carol and Helen went to to see the Northern Lights, they stayed in this ice hotel. Not gonna lie, that is cool as fuck. Okay, don't know if I would do it. I don't know. I think I'd be too paranoid. But no, the her and Carol, they just went and had a moment. Not Carol and Helen just went and had a moment. It just seemed like Helen always been the life, and Carol just kind of always skeptical about stuff. I don't know. She just never really felt like she was, she never really seemed happy. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you did see that moment where Helen leans her head on her shoulder, and she doesn't smile or say anything, but she's in her comfort zone, I guess I would say. You know what I'm saying? That's how she was with Helen. But now she's dealing with this. Helen's gone. Now she's dealing with all these people who have Helen's memories, and then they constantly doing things that remind her, or that they know Helen and her did. It was no, you didn't know her. Stop using that. And I don't blame her for that, because it's okay, I get you want to cater to me, but you really just pissing me off, and I can't even go off on you like that, because that would be the cause of more deaths in the world. Because that one time, the episode, she started to get pissed off. She realized I can't. I gotta hold in what I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, in this episode, she asks for a grenade, and Zosha brings a grenade, and then they just sitting there drinking. The show is smartly answering questions I think anybody would have, because she said, if you drink, does that mean everybody else around the world and it might get drunk? She's no, that's not how it works. And you can kind of tell there's still a semblance of personality within each one, because you see how Zosha was acting, and you also saw how the kid at the hospital was acting. So it's kind of okay. There's personalities there. It's just not that person's personality. That's what it seems like. But there's also multiple other things, because Carol, she goes out to the grocery store, and they've taken all the groceries. They're taking all the groceries. Because I was just to myself, if I'm her, I just kind of leave me alone, let me live my regular life. You feel me? I just want to still operate how I did. Y'all do y'all thing, I'm gonna do my thing. But I go to the grocery store, there's nothing left. Then she makes a call, and then they bring literally every single thing back, and without a question or nothing. They let Carol do her little grocery shopping, and then that's it. And it seemed like Carol didn't even get nothing worth a damn. You know what I'm saying? But it's just so, man, it's just crazy. This whole concept is just kind of like, because there's so many questions that you ask, like throughout. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many different things you think about. And there was one in particular, I probably should have wrote it down because I can't think of it. It was something that happened in this episode that just really kind of like threw me off. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, like, she gets into like a disagreement with Zosha because she told her Helen's memories are off limits. That stuff that we had, that is off limits. And then she gets pissed off. She gets a grenade that Zosha brought her, which she didn't think was an actual grenade until Zosha grabs it and throws it out the window, and then it blows up, and she's obviously injured after that, and obviously Carol feels bad. But then Carol starts to go talk to, like, she has the moment at the hospital with the kid, and she's talking, well, young man, I mean, he got a DHL shut on, so I'm pretty sure he had a job before this whole thing happened. Might still got a job. He probably, he's obviously a DHL worker. He probably the person who performed surgery on Zosha too. You know what I'm saying? It's just a whole bunch. But she started asking like about four certain things, and you just like, yeah, we just want to make you comfortable. We like anything to like make you happy, you know. There it is. I got it. One of the conversations that I thought was really good, really good, and make you think, but it's also kind of like, so it goes to the whole, when Carol was confronting them, because they're having conversations. I like how the fact that the show's not running from certain conversations that people obviously would want to have, or like questions they obviously would want to answer. And when she's talking to Zosha, she's like, you telling me this is my mind, or my body is my own. I have the choice to do whatever I want. But yet you trying to give me this make me become part of this cult, or the obviously the joint. And Zosha brings up a point that kind of just throws you off, like legitimately throws you off. She said, if you see a person drowning in a lake, would you throw them a life vest? She said, you wouldn't hesitate. Of course you wouldn't hesitate. Of course you would. Of course you would. So obviously, Carol, like, what do you think? So I'm drowning now? You can't see it, but I'm just like, damn. That's crazy. That's crazy to think about. But here's my whole thing, though. Even when you think about that, because I'm like, that's a good ass point to break, Zosha. That's a good ass point. But let me ask you this. So what if I start just accepting y'all help? What if I become truthfully happy in my own way? What happiness means to me? Are you still gonna try to make me become part of the joint? Because if I'm happy, I shouldn't have to become part of the joint anymore, because I have my own happiness. Obviously, it looks like Carol is miserable with the whole situation that's going on. But to me, if I'm Carol, I'm gonna play into it. I'm gonna do what they need. I'm not accepting any food from them. I'm sorry, I just can't do that. I'm not accepting any food. Like when they brought the breakfast, I wouldn't have took that either. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have took that. Like, I'm sorry, I can cook my own breakfast. I like cooking. Like, maybe like if you want to do anything, give me some cooking channels. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be on TV cooking, like do something like that, entertaining. But like, no, I'm not eating y'all food. I don't know what y'all trying to do. But that's the question. Like, okay, if I'm happy, I don't need to become part of y'all, right? Right? So I'm over it. Like I'm talking to y'all, or like I'm talking to them. But like that's like the whole thing. I think eventually Carol's gonna have to like kind of like hit them with. No, I'm happy. I'm very happy. But they obviously they can see that she's not right now, so they're trying to make her comfortable and happy. But until she gets to that point, you know, I just kind of wonder how that whole conversation gonna come about. And also like, hey, she still has to ask, what if I don't want to? What are y'all gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff. But another good episode. Like I said, I like how the show doesn't run from like certain questions people will obviously have, and then they have conversations. They answer those questions with conversations or interesting conversations between these characters. I'll fuck with that. You guys let me know what you thought about the episode down in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you guys later.